We are so excited to have TikTok content creator Lacey Jane Brown with us. You're currently on pace to break a world record, which is crazy. You're going to 32 NFL home games in 73 days. You're just at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Sunday. So what'd you think of that?
I honestly loved it. So first off, I love the Halo video board. That was incredible. And secondly, I feel like one of the most underrated parts about it is the food. Concessions are so cheap. Like I literally went in, I grabbed 3 hot dogs because it's the price of a normal hot dog. They're $2. So I was like, this is incredible. I loved it. I had a good time. Unfortunately, Falcons didn't come out with a win, but the stadium itself is beautiful. The outside is beautiful. The inside is beautiful. Concessions, 10 out of 10.
Hot dogs are cheap. I mean, what more could you ask for at a
I
sporting
know.
event?
I know. I always get hot dogs too because they're typically like the cheapest thing. And I was like, I get 3 now for the price of 1. So.
Fantastic. Now, for those that don't know, what inspired you to try and go after this world record that you're trying to set?
Yeah. So it's actually like a very kind of confusing thing. I never really share it. But so basically my nephew inspired me. He's been battling cancer for 10 years. He's 10 years old. Hugest sports fan that I ever known. Like he's incredible. He actually finally got to play in sports this past summer. He was playing flag football and he broke his wrist because he's fragile. Just sad. So now he has a big cast on. But I'm doing this for him, and at every single sporting event, you'll see me buy a hat or whatever. Every single game, I'm buying something for him. So the hats all at the end of all of this tour are going straight towards him. I'm gonna gift it all to him. So he's the reason why I'm doing this. Life's too short, and he's kind of living the adventure through me.
Oh, I absolutely love that. That is so sweet. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you've got 13 more stops on this tour, if I counted correctly. What's been your favorite stadium or even maybe your favorite fan base to be around on this tour so far?
Yeah, I would probably say my favorite stadium would be Allegiant Stadium, but my favorite fan base would be Ravens. And I feel like the reason why I'm saying Ravens is I have now gone to 3 games and they've all won every single game. So it's maybe like, I'm seeing the best of them, but they're all so welcoming, so nice, genuinely so much fun, very, very loyal. At every away game, Tampa Bay and Saints, there were so many Ravens fans. Like, I love it. I love that fan base, big fan of them. And I'm obviously a Chiefs fan myself, so I'm not going to say Kansas City Chiefs because that's a little biased. I don't think I'm super biased, so.
Oh man, I love that. The Falcons play the Ravens the day before Christmas. So I believe it's Christmas Eve. So we'll be up there for Christmas. So it should be very interesting.
Yeah. Beautiful stadium though.
Yeah. So with this, nonstop crazy tour that you've got going on, what has kind of been a favorite memory of yours now that we're kind of 10 weeks into the season?
Yeah, a favorite memory of mine would probably be with the Houston Texans, actually. So they had their first reveal of a new helmet that they've ever used in their franchise. It was a battle red, shiny chrome helmet. And before the game, I actually got to try on the helmet, and it was just a really cool experience. I got to walk through the tunnel, which their tunnel has this bowl that's blowing smoke out of its nose. It's insane, but I actually got to fully experience that, and it was just incredible. I loved it. I really wasn't expecting a ton. The Texans lost, but the experience was 10 out of 10. I loved it. It was a really cool opportunity to be a part of.
You have 500,000 followers almost on TikTok, which is just absolutely insane. I'm curious how you kind of got into this sports content creation. Was there something that just maybe blew up that you didn't even really expect, or was it something you were really planning and trying to strategize? How did you kind of get to this point?
Yeah. So when I first started on TikTok, I was more so creating skits, funny comedy skits. And then something that I'm super passionate about is sharing sports stories. So sharing the stories you typically wouldn't know of. And then that's kind of what I started doing on TikTok. And then it started blowing up. And that's really what I like to do. I mean, for example, Lamar Jackson, watched him yesterday. A big talk around him is his contract. You know, he wants more money. A lot of people may not know that he's his own agent. He doesn't have an agent, which is incredible, but it's I feel like it's a really cool story to tell people so people know that story about what he's doing, because most players at his high caliber all have agents. So, yeah.
It's interesting too, because I mean, not only do you have so many followers, but you're getting consistently millions of views on these TikToks that you're doing. I mean, why do you think that this whole idea of what you're doing resonates with so many people?
Yeah. So I think really what it is that at least for this tour, when I'm creating content, is I try to create content that people could actually feel as a fan there, whether it's being a fan reaction or something like that. Like, I try to let people know what it's like to actually be a fan there. Because typically when people go to stadiums, they're there like for their own team. Well, I'm kind of trying to represent every single team whenever I go to these stadiums so people can actually understand and feel what it's like. I've had so many people from Germany, Italy, Ireland, Scotland, like message me, email me and say, hey, I've never attended like an American football game, so thank you for taking me on this journey, which is really cool. So those little things just kind of show that, hey, it's actually like working what I'm doing.
You mentioned the Ravens fan base being one that you really liked interacting with. Is there one fan base that you found with your content that they're super reactive to it, or one fan base that kind of like always comments on your stuff no matter what? And what's maybe like a favorite story that you have about that?
Yeah, I would say Broncos. I feel like my issue with them, I feel like my issue with them is also like I am a Chiefs fan, like, and so I feel like a lot of people just regardless are like, she's gonna say something negative about the Broncos. But I'm not ever saying anything negative, but I think the fact is I went to 3 Broncos games in a row and they all lost every single game, even their home game. And the games were so rough to watch. And so like, I think that's why I got the Broncos fans like kind of like, she can't go to our games anymore, because that was like the curse. But that would definitely be the fan base for sure. And it could be because I'm a Chiefs fan, but yeah, that's definitely them.
That's fantastic.
Broncos country, let's ride.
I know, right? I love it.
Now, everybody sees you, you know, on social media, on TikTok, but who are you kind of outside of social media? Where are you from? What do you like to do? Kind of who are you off of the page of TikTok?
Yeah. So off the page of TikTok, I know a lot of people don't really know about like anything personal, really. I don't go too much into that. I'm from Kansas. I came from a small town. I graduated with 12 kids in my graduating class. Grew up on a farm. This whole journey for me has been pretty crazy because it's really just been kind of paving my own path. I was involved in sports from a young age. My family was involved in sports. Quite frankly, there's not a ton to do in Kansas besides sport or really watching sports. There's just not a lot, you know, the land's kind of flat, can't do too much. But so really outside of all of this, I love traveling. So I'm doing that right now. Unfortunately, it's more like go, but I do love traveling. I love my family. I love my friends. Really anything outdoors, and best of all, I love sports. I love playing basketball, love watching football. Yeah.
So as Atlanta's only female-led sports show, we're very much big on the female empowerment in sports, combating gender inequity and promoting these kind of female representation in sports like yourself, and doing it while you're laughing and making jokes. Like, that's something that we're super passionate about as well on our show. What's your message to other women in sports who maybe see this and are like, how can I maybe get into this, or are wondering what that kind of is like?
Yeah, I think my biggest message is, first off, don't give up, keep going. And lastly, as a woman in sports, I know from first experience how much hate you get. Like, you get endless hate. But really, when I first started, that's when I noticed it, and I still notice it to this day. But I let that hate now fuel me. And one thing that I always tell people is if you're getting hate, you're doing something right, you're relevant. Now, when you don't get hate, that's when you got to start worrying, because people are like, they don't got anything to talk about. So that's kind of my biggest takeaway, and just keep going. We got it. I'm all about women in sports, and I will gladly support anyone that reaches out to me. If anyone wants to talk or anything, I will be there for them in a heartbeat.
Haters gonna hate. I mean, that's just the
Right?
tales all the time, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
last question that I have: do you just have like diamond status on like every airline at this point, or what's kind of this? What are the travel benefits that you're getting here?
I know. Honestly, I should have diamond status. I don't. I think my issue is that I just book everything like whichever flight's the cheapest. So if that's Delta, if that's American, if that's Southwest, if that's United. So I literally fly on every airline, even Spirit, which is questionable. No offense, Spirit, but yeah, I can get myself in some situations there. But yeah, I really don't. And same with places, like I'll stay at Airbnbs, I'll stay at random hotels, whatever is the cheapest option, that's really what I go with, which is probably not the safest option, but it's the cheapest. So
when is the last time that you were home? Like, how have you just like packed for this whole time? Do you check like 15 bags? Like, how are you doing this logistically? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So I checked 2 bags, and that's all that I really do. So I actually don't really have a home right now. So I moved from Portland, and I just like put my clothes at my family's. I have like my sister lives in Texas, so I just put it there. So I'll randomly, like for the Texans game, I was there. So I randomly was like, all right, let me put new stuff together. But yeah, now like I've been from Atlanta, and then I'm going to Charlotte on Thursday, then I'm gonna be in Buffalo, New York on Sunday, and then it's just like north-south weather, so it's like I don't know if I packed right. Probably didn't, but we'll figure it out.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate the time. What an awesome, cool journey that you're on. Anyone who wants to catch the full conversation with Lacey, head to fox5atlanta.com, and we'll be right back on Rise Up Tonight.